Starting to make the beat.
Welcome to the Ozarks Sports Report Show. Here joined with the head coach of the Clever Lady Jays, Coach Dan Jones. And for today's show, we got a season recap to talk to you guys about with the coach of the Clever Lady Jays, Coach Dan Jones, along with Mackenzie Simpson, Carly Simpson, and Ruthie Brown joining in with us. And for today's show, once again, we have a season recap to tell you guys about with the Clever Lady Jays. Recapping the season for the Clever Lady Jays, the Jays went 20-9. With only 9 losses coming to West Plains twice, Kickapoo, Skyline twice, St. James, Stratford, Blue Eye, and Mount Vernon in the Class 3 District 12 tournament. So Coach Jones and the girls, what was your mentality that you guys had going into this 2019-2020 season?
Well, for me as a coach, of course it was a totally new team. We had some newcomers to the team and some girls without a lot of varsity experience, but I knew with the talent level they had and the package we were bringing that we were going to have a good season. We did have 9 losses, but the ones that you recap were all, I think, except for one, state-ranked teams. So we took care of business where we needed to. A couple of times we faltered, especially here at the end. We didn't want to lose that one. We felt like we should win it, but I knew we were going to have a good season. I was real proud of the girls, and it's just going to be even better next year. So. Ruthie, how about you?
Going into the season, I was really excited for it because, I knew we were going to have a good team this year, and we have a few new girls who weren't, used to it, like me and Mackenzie and Carly. So we had a lot of room to, step up. So I was excited for that. Going into the season, I had the mentality of, needing to work hard, and it's the varsity experience is brand new for me, so I had to work hard and get acclimated pretty quickly because I had to step up because I've never been in that position before. So yeah.
That was Mackenzie.
Had to step up in that role is moving on from JV into varsity. So isn't that a big role that you guys have to do when you guys move on from JV into varsity?
Yeah, just getting used to a higher intensity level and stuff like that.
So Coach Jones, with these 3 players that you have with you, what was their roles that they had mostly on the court for this season?
Yeah, of course, these 3 right now that are with us in the interview, Mackenzie, Carly, and Ruthie, our sophomore core. They offensively, I knew that all 3 of those were really, really good scorers. 3 of the better sophomore scorers I've had at any school at any level, and so they definitely had a role of stretching the floor, which we did real well, and we were able to knock down threes at a pretty high percentage. I think as a team we shot around 34% from the 3, which is pretty good. And then defensively, they needed to step up and make some stops for us in some key areas. And a lot of games we did that, and some games we did, and some of it was just, it was kind of tough trying to figure out some of the things we needed to do. And I'm sure next year we'll be a lot farther ahead, where that's concerned, because all 3 of the girls didn't have a lot of varsity time. Of course, Ruthie had some, and the Simpsons both were coming from Nixon, so they were coming out of a JV situation. And so it was a totally different deal, different speed, different expectations as far as the games are concerned. But each one of them had kind of their own separate role too that I expected them to do, and they all did a really good job getting better and growing at that as the year went on.
Just getting better and just growing as the year went on. That's basically the definition of basketball, is just growing and just getting better as the season progresses. Now we got to talk about the wins. 20 wins on the season, which came against Marshfield, Springfield Catholic, Fairgrove, Bradleyville, Crane, Lebanon, Nixa, Seneca, Spokane, Warsaw, Leeton, Lakeland, Fairgrove, Sparta, Skyline, Greenfield, Stockton, Ash Grove, Forsyth, Lamar, and Aurora. So what was the most important win that you guys had through these 20 wins that you guys had this season?
I thought Nixa was a really good one because I just, well, it might not be the most, like, important, but, like, it was in the pink and white. I think it was, like, the second round, and, like, coming from Nixa, like, yeah, I played freshman, and, like, I feel like they didn't, well, like, it was just, like, really good to get a win against Nixa because, like, you know, it's my former school, so.
Yeah, I'd say Nixa because, like she said, we played freshman. Didn't really even get that much JV time last year, so for two of their freshman players to come in and start varsity and win, like, that felt really good.
I don't think there's really a specific one that stands out to me above them all, but, like, obviously every win feels good, so.
Yeah, for me, I think that Nixa was definitely a key one because it got us to the semifinals, and I wanted that for the girls, you know, because they really wanted to be here, and we were glad that they came. And then probably another real key win for us was just before districts. We were playing really, really well, and we beat a really solid Ash Grove team, and then we took down Forsyth, who'd played Stratford close, and we beat Forsyth by about 30 plus. So coming into the postseason, I felt like we were playing our best basketball, and we needed to be at that point in time. So,
Just playing your best basketball was at that point in time is really good to talk about during districts, or right before districts, is winning 2 games against Ash Grove and Forsyth. Now, staying in the same topic as the wins, what was the most exciting win that you guys had in this 2019-2020 campaign?
what do you think, Ruthie?
I'll have to think. I was really excited after the Nixa one just because that's a big school that we were going against, so it felt good to beat them. And the Forsyth game, that was really exciting just because, like, it was our last game of the regular season, and we expected it to be a tough game, but we had a big lead on them, so.
I think one of the most exciting ones was, well, obviously Nixa, because, you know, like I said, and then, like, Sparta, and Forsyth Sparta, because, like, we came into that game, and that's a pretty solid Class 2 team, so, like, and me and Carly, we both had 5 threes in that game, so that was pretty exciting.
5 shots from downtown from the Simpson girls, and Carly and Mackenzie Simpson. So that's something to be proud about for that game against Sparta. So now we got to talk about the dark side of the wins, and those are the losses. Only 9 losses, so just 1 loss south of hitting double-digit losses. So what was the most loss that you guys had to really get educated about or really learn from?
I think losing against West Plains in the Fairgrove tournament, we were, like, really close with them at the end of the third quarter. And then going into the fourth quarter, we started turning the ball over a lot, and our defense wasn't where it was needed to be. So that helped us learn because, like, obviously we needed to, like, limit turnovers and things like that. So I think that was...
Yeah, and I have to agree with her on that because after that point in time, we did have a couple other games where we turned the ball over, but we took a lot better care of the basketball after that point. So turnovers this year was not really a big thing for us, only in a couple of games. That one, obviously, and I think 1 or 2 others that they kind of were key. But the girls did a really good job of learning from that and handling pressure.
Handling the pressure is just taking care of the ball whenever you lose or win. So now Carly and Ruthie Brown, what would be your most learning loss that you guys had to learn from this season?
I think actually I'd probably say the West Plains one too, because I'd say I'm probably one of the ones who turned over the ball quite a bit in that game. So it helped me to, like, realize, like, have the realization that I need to take better control of the ball and not get so rushed in those high pressure situations. So.
will probably be the Stratford game, because, like, it kind of gave me a, like, taste of what it feels like to play against the number 1 team in Class 3. Just, like, see their, how, like, tough they were and, like, the intensity, like, in which they played defense and, like, stuff like that. So I think that gave me a chance to, like, kind of think about what I have to do to, like, play against that type of, like, intense defense. So
playing that type of intense defense that is against Stratford. And Stratford this year, they had a very long win streak, about 120 games, we believe, and they lost that win streak, and actually the same tournament as you guys, to Republic. And so, did you guys think, like, oh, the win streak's over for Stratford, let's go get Stratford when we play them?
I think we knew that we could play with Stratford before that ever happened. I think the girls are real confident. And obviously, going into the Stratford game, we jumped out to an 8-point lead. We were up, I think, 18-8 early, and they ended up getting back in the game on us. But we felt like then we could play with them, and had we not stumbled against Mount Vernon, I really feel like the girls felt like we would be able to take them out, and I felt confident that we could too. Unfortunately, shots didn't drop for us, and against Mount Vernon, got in a little foul trouble, and some things happened that we weren't able to capitalize on that game. But that we weren't worried about the win streak. We kind of knew what they were. We feel like they're a good team. We hope they go on and represent our area well and win the whole state. That way, when we beat them next year, it's going to be a lot nicer to say we beat a state champion. So, we know they're a good team. We respect them. We think they've got some great players, but we feel like we got some great players too.
Do you think you guys have some great players on there at Clever? And now we got to talk about one game that happened on January 9th, which was when you guys played Spokane. Allie Clevenger from Clever scored her 1,500th career point, and on that same night, Paige Tate had her 1,000th career rebound. So isn't that something special? Like, do you think Allie and Paige, were they friends, like, off the court, but on the court they're competitors?
Yeah, I got that from it.
Yeah, and they played together on the same club team, so they're really, really close friends. So that was a pretty neat deal. Paige was actually at our district game, and Allie went over to their district game. So they've been friends for several years, so that's pretty cool.
Very cool it was for Allie Clevenger and Paige Tate from Spokane and Clever to score their 1,500th career point and their 1,000th career rebound, all in that same game. Now we got to talk about, as we move out from the 2019-2020 winter season now to the 2020 and 2021 winter season for next year that will kick off in November. What's going to be different about the Clever Lady Jays? Is it going to be a young team? Is it going to be we're just going to make adjustments because you guys will be without Allie Clevenger, who committed to play college ball at Drury? So what's going to be different for next year for the Clever Lady Jays?
Well, every year has its own deal, not having Allie and Madison is it's going to be tough to replace them. But I feel like with this core of three right here, they know what they can do certainly in the court, and they're going to have another year's experience behind them, so they're going to have a great year. We've got a few really good eighth graders coming in. A couple that'll be able to help us out. We've got some other periphery players that we think will do a good job. So while we'll be a little bit smaller and a little less experience on the court losing Allie, I think the experience we gain with these three sophomores back, we're going to have three very talented juniors on the team as our core. I feel like our peripheral pieces will do a good job. We're going to be a little bit smaller, but we're going to shoot the ball probably better next year than we did this year, and we shot the ball really well. Defensively, these three know what they need to do to step it up, and they're all three involved in their off season right now. So I'll just give it to them. I'm pretty excited about next year. I always like a different season. People go, well, you can't be as good as the last year. Well, they said that about us this year, and we did what we needed to do to show that we're still clever, and we're going to do that next year too. So here's Ruthie.
I think next year the three of us are going to step up a lot because now we have a year of experience where we've learned a lot this year, and we had our challenges, but I think that'll make us come out a lot better next year. And I think we're going to shoot the ball really well. And, yeah, it'll be obviously a challenge to replace Madison and Allie, but I think we'll be able to step it up.
Yeah, I'm really excited for next year because I think that because us three have, like, the varsity experience, that we're more confident going into next season, and, like, we know what we need to work on in the off season, so we're just going to come back next year and be a lot better than we were this year and just work really hard.
Now, moving on for the Mid-Lakes Conference, which is the conference that you guys are currently in, and for classes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for girls basketball, what do you think is going to be different about next year for Clever girls basketball and also for the Mid-Lakes Conference and for classes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah, I mean, things are going to change up a lot because we're going to 6 classes. It looks like Clever's going to move up to Class 4. I think Stratford will probably move to Class 4, so our district will change. It'll probably be a lot more similar to what it was in the past. Probably us, Fairgrove, Stratford, Buffalo will probably go Class 4. I think our conference will stay the same. I don't think it'll change. Of course, Skyline, I think they've got everybody back, so they'll probably be picked as the favorite. Of course, they beat Stratford this year. We're going to be nipping at their heels, though. I know Stratford will be good again. They're losing some good players, but that's some good younger players. So they'll be like us, a new team, but we'll be really strong. So once again, Skyline, Stratford, I think, and Clever will be 3 of the better teams. You know, especially the teams that people look at as, okay, well, they're not a big school, but we play like a big school. So, you know, over the past 6 years that I've been here, we've beaten Class 5 schools about 15 times. We've beaten ranked teams in all the classifications about 25 times. So, you know, we've got a really good thing going on, and I think we're going to keep going. So I think the whole conference will stay about the same, but then it's going to be interesting to see how Class 4, Class 3 teams move around and what that shuffle is going to be. We're not sure exactly how that's going to look.
Same question, girls, goes to you. Is what do you think the classes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and then the Mid-Lakes Conference will be for next year?
Like Coach Jones was saying, I think that it'll be like, you know, we'll be younger like Stratford, but like I think we're gonna be good. We might be overlooked by some teams because we lose Allie Clevenger and Gladney, but, like, I think we're still going to be really good, if not, you know. Yeah. So.
I definitely think it's going to be different, but I think it's going to be a good change.
Good change it will be for the high school basketball next year as they'll move on to 6 classes instead of 5. With Clever saying that they're going to be moving up to Class 4. So do you think it's going to be a little bit more meat on the bones because you might play teams more regularly like Republic or Ozarks or Nixa regularly that are not in tournaments?
Well, I did pick up Nixa this year. We've got them on the schedule. We've picked them up for December 12th. I don't have the confirmation yet on Hillcrest, but I just sent out a thing, and they're requesting to play us, so we probably have Hillcrest on the schedule. Both those teams should be in the Class 5, Class 6 range, and we'll keep doing that with our schedule. 2 years ago, we had the toughest schedule in the state in all classes, according to Max Preps. This year, it wasn't quite as tough. It was still a good schedule. A lot of the smaller schools were all teams that were close to 20 wins, so we had a lot of quality wins this year as well. As far as the Class 4s are concerned, with us and Stratford moving up into Class 4, I think that's going to kind of put a scare into some of those other teams that are going to stay in the Class 4 range, like the Reed Springs and the Lebanon. Well, I think Lebanon will stay up in Class 5, but some of those other Class 4 teams like Rogersville, Willard will be Class 4. I don't think they're going to be real excited about us moving up, but that's okay. We feel like we have competed with those teams in the past, and we feel like we're going to compete with them in the future. We feel like our next several years are going to be really strong. So Yeah, so we're excited. We don't care whether we wear a label of 4 or 3. We feel like we're going to be able to compete, have a chance to get out of districts and make a run.
And also talking about schedule-wise, now you guys will play. Are you guys still going to play 3 former SWCL members in Crane, Spokane, and Blue Eye next year?
Right now, let's see. Yeah, I think Crane has dropped us. They're not going to play us next year. We'll still have Blue Eye. We'll still have Spokane on the schedule. So we're going to do our best to retain those quality Class 2 and Class 3 schools, because we want to be prepared. We're not quite as worried about the win-loss record during the season as we are as getting us ready and exposing our weaknesses so that we can come into the playoffs knowing what we need to do, and having played tough competition, we can step up and play against those tough teams that we'll have to jump over to get to the state tournament.
One more question before we let you go. Is there any final words you guys had to say to all 29 teams that you guys played this year, including the team you guys lost to in Mount Vernon? What would be your words to each of those coaches that you played through this year with, once again, all 29 teams that you played? What would be your words to each coach that you played?
Don't underestimate our team next year, because we're going to come back and be better than we were this year.
Same question goes to you, Ruthie Brown and Mackenzie Simpson, and also Coach Jones. What would be your words to all the coaches that you played from this year?
I'd probably say the same thing. Just don't underestimate us for next year, and we're going to keep getting better.
We're going to work really hard this off season and come back next year, and we're gonna, just what Carly said. So.
Yeah, for me, just to kind of reiterate what the girls said, it will be tough to replace Allie and Madison, but I know these girls can do it. We got a lot of work to put in to get it done, but they will definitely put in the work, and I have no doubts that we're going to just keep getting better, and we're going to be ready. So for those 29 coaches that we played, some of them we don't have you on the schedule anymore, but we're going to be competitive. We look forward to great games with you. So like the girls said, don't overlook us, because these girls are really hungry and they're ready to play some basketball.
Girls are really hungry and ready to play some basketball. Now we'll end today's season recap for today. We hope you enjoyed our season recap as we sat down with the head coach of the Clever Lady Jays, along with Ruthie Brown, Carly, and Mackenzie Simpson with us. If you'd like to stay connected with the Clever Lady Jays through their social media, be sure to like them on Facebook. Also follow them on Twitter. Their Twitter is at Clever Jays B-Ball. Once again, it's Clever Lady Jays B-Ball on Twitter. Also, check out their website. Their website is at cleverjays.net. And also check out mission.org for their schedules for next season. If you'd like to stay connected with Ozarks Sports Report through our social media, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and check out our website at Podbean. Our website is ozarksportsreport.website.com/ozarksportsreport. One final time, we want to thank Coach Dan Jones along with Carly, Mackenzie Simpson, and Ruthie Brown for sitting down with us to recap the Clever Lady Jays 2019-2020 season. And for one final time, we'd like to congratulate the Clever Lady Jays on an incredible season going 20-9. One final time, I'm Adam Smith from the Ozarks Sports Report saying, have a good day, everybody.